AI is a booming industry. We use it all every day. Heck, I use it professionally for project plans, meeting agendas. Personally, I use it for DIY plans, meal preps, and all sorts. And this time, I'm using it to help me get better at Minecraft. I'm TomB92. It has been a whole calendar year since we've put out a video. That's right, a whole calendar year. Now, AI has already helped me along this way. It helped me select this seed for today. I'm going to clear a few bits out. We're going to talk about why I haven't been around for 12 months. My last video was on the Artisan Collective, spending time with the learning tree. And well, it all just disappeared, right? You didn't see much from me. And well, the reason being, well, I had personally had a lot of change in my life. I had a new job role, and life with children gets really busy, and I just couldn't give the time, the effort, the energy that I had in the past to content creation that the Artisan Collective, really needed. I have to admit, I struggled in the world of Axiom and Flashback and the growth that was happening with those mods that were revolutionizing content at the time. And as I said, I didn't have the time to put into things. So, that kind of passed me by. I have to admit, it passed me by, and I struggled with that a little bit. So, a part of this series is, whilst I'm going to be experimenting with AI and how that can help me, is I'm also going to be getting back to grasp with things like that. In particular, Flashback. Hopefully we'll have seen some of that already, because, well, I've pretty much forgot everything. Night one was pretty crazy. We managed to get some copper gear. Day two, we've got ourselves a bed. I have to admit, I need to do some exploration. I need to get some resources. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to leave you with 5 minutes or so of the footage I made from the artisans before stepping away. This is unseen footage, unseen editing of where I was going with the learning tree and the potential story that was going to develop from there. It's a new day here on the Artisan Collective SMP. Welcome back. I'm TomB92. And I'm stood amongst a chest monster. Yep. And well, temporary cactus farm here, because last episode I needed a load of cyan dye. So yeah, this came in handy. If you caught last episode, the learning tree is here to make us a better person. And I don't really think I'm a bad person, but be intrigued to see what the learning tree has in store for us today. Oh, yeah, it's left us a note. It's time to make friends. Ow. Ow, what? Ah! Baby fire zombie. You're not a friend. You're the opposite of a friend. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That was not how I envisioned that going. But, ow! Ow, another one! Get out of here. I'm gonna die. Get in the water. Oh. What are these? These are not friends. These are enemies. Learning tree. What are you doing to me? Oh. Where are you coming from? Underneath. Oh, he's left another note. And gather some resources. Stock up. Stock up? What do you mean? I've got a blooming chest monster. What resources do I need? Maybe some automated resources? I mean, a cactus farm could probably do with having some form of automation, right? But first, we should make some friends, right? Let's go make some friends. So let's gather up a few items we probably could do with a lead. And here we go. Do you want to be my friend? Do you know what? The thing is, I even have a perfect name. There we have it. Tom's friend. Now, the learning tree has to accept you. Let's go and take you over. Okay, I will park you here and see if I can find another friend. Okay, how about you, Mr. Piggy, Mrs. Something just died over there. Will you be my friend? Ah, yeah, that's better. Let's see if the learning tree believes you two are my friends. Learning tree, oh learning tree with your great big branches and your beautiful orange leaves, I bring to you Tom's friend number one, Mr. or Mrs. Piggy, and Mr. or Mrs. Sheep. I've brought you friends. You know, they're named friends. What do you think? Can you, in your wondrous ways, let me know what you think? What you think of my friends? Okay, let's see. Wow. Okay, no, they don't count. I thought these guys, you know, they're literally they're Tom's friend. What more can I do? You need real friends, real people. Okay, I mean that. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, well, before I go and attempt to find some more friends, I mean, I can't imagine these guys are going to want to be my friends burning up over there. But I want to do some of that automation. I want to get some of those resources that the learning tree wants us to get up in place. Now, I have got a tried and trusted villager breeder up here, and you can see we've already got some in here. And that visual glitch with glass is really quite disorientating, but there is some water in there and then down there. It's just very strange. You just can't see flowing water. You can see the water sources, but you can't see the flowing water. So what we need to do is start getting some of these in place. And I've got myself stuck under here now. And I also want to change this out. I mentioned it last episode. I foolishly put in chest storage, but if I'm going to turn this into like somewhat of an industrial zone, which I think is my intention, because this is passive, you know, it doesn't need me standing over it, whacking it. Well, I should probably change that out. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to get some villagers in. I've got my cactus that we saw at the start of the episode, and I'm going to put that into place. And I'm going to see if anyone else around the server actually wants to be my friend.
Hey, there he is. Hey, Tom.
Hello.
Welcome to the base of chicken.
I have a very quick question for you.
Sure.
Will you be my friend?
Of course.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I
Hello.
have a super quick question for you.
Oh, already.
Will you be my friend?
Of course.
Yay!
Yay.
Thank you. I really hope you enjoyed seeing that. It's been sat on my device for every year, and it was quite emotional actually putting that together and being able to share that with you guys. Hopefully those on the server were actually able to understand what was meant by the tree, because, well, I guess it just got left there. I think some people, there's a zombie back there, isn't there? Can I see it? Yeah, look, his legs are just hiding back there. But that tree was back there. I think Maze did a little thing with it in the server. But yeah, it was meant to kind of help me make its way into some storylines and help me develop and learn new things. And the first thing was going to go and collaborate with people and go and see them. So that was why I was making new friends, because, well, there were a lot of new members to the server that I just didn't get time to spend with, and I was missing out on that. So that was my way to force myself into making friends. Now, I have virtually all the woods, as you can see from my hotbar. Birch is over there, so I'm not particularly too worried about that. I mean, spruce is over there, dark, and if I enter free cam, you see I haven't had to travel that far. Pale wood's up over there, cherry was over there. So I spent a couple of days, really, that's it. I've spent a couple of days, killed all the cows in sight, got myself some steak, and we're pretty much prepared. I'm just waiting for that guy to poke out. But we're pretty much prepared now to write our first prompt and see what we're going to build in our starter base. So using ChatGPT, we're going to type in this prompt. Based in a dark oak forest, still with starter tools, like copper, but with access to multiple wood types including pale oak, spruce, acacia, dark oak, and birch, provide me 3 suitable build styles that aren't modern. The build style should allow for growth as a builder and the ability to expand, either growing a town, village, or expanding upon the initial base build. Now, here's the thing, guys. I wanted to show you my live prompts, but this didn't really give me what I wanted. So I had to do a little bit more poking, and this is what we've come up with. Steampunk fantasy, a brand new style for me. Okay, well, that was a bit of an embarrassing fight with the llamas. They actually took a bit of help off me, as you can see. And you may also see, well, we are in a different location. So, steampunk fantasy got me thinking, well, the actual setup area, the startup area where we spawned, probably isn't that good. I love this flat area of cliffs or mountains, hills, whatever you want to say, but they're more flat. Now, I have to admit, this seed is absolutely stunning. I'm speechless, honestly. This was ChatGPT's seed for just providing me some wood nearest to spawn, and I may even be able to show you some from FreeCam. Like, this is just over the background here. Look, these beautiful mountains, and I've extended my radius thanks to Bobby. But we've got a lovely stem of calcite. That'll come in handy, I'm sure. I think that's like a bowl. There's other bowls. Let's sleep before we get in trouble because we are not lighting this area up. So here's the thing. I don't really have a great deal of resources. Like you can see the bit of wood that I've cleared out. I don't really have much food. And I'm talking about building. I don't think it's the right thing for me to do. So I'm going to do that lovely thing that YouTubers do, you know, that real thing that I've missed. Just gathering up some resources, be prepared to build, clear out a bit more of this area, plan out where it might go. Now, when I say plan out, here's the thing. I don't want to use creative in this world, maybe other than for redstone later on. But realistically, my builds are all going to be done in survival. I might have some reference images. In fact, I do have a reference image. ChatGPT has generated me a reference image. And at the end, we are going to have a look. We'll see where it goes, how I've got on with it. There will be some creative freedom because it is quite one color. And if I stick with one color, let's face it, it's just going to blend into this dirt background. So let's get cracking and crack on. We have, blimey, those spruce shelves are so expensive. Who thought that was a good idea to make that the recipe? Now, yeah, we've cleared out a bit more land. We've managed to get some copper, which is going to come in handy for maybe what I'm going to call phase 2 or maybe even phase 3 of this build. We're going to try and build it up. We're going to try and keep in store with kind of the resources that we have to hand. You know, I've got an inventory here full of a bit of spruce, oak, and cobblestone. Cobblestone. So, you know, we've got no enchantments. Don't really want to waste my resources yet smelting that up. But we have made a bit of work here. This is where I'm envisioning the first build going. And once you see the generated image at the end, you'll see my understanding for why. Because I want to use this side. I want to kind of build back in here. And I've raised this up nicely. And I'm going to spend a bit of time just putting in the bottom layer. I'm going to try and use flashback. As I said at the start, I've not used flashback yet. So we're going to see how it goes. And spend a bit of time just trying to find some shape. And we will talk through what it is that we're trying to achieve. So we're going to shape up the front. Now, the first thing that we need to try and do is make sure that we've got some things that look like support, right? So oak is going to be initially our kind of foundational level. And then we'll shift in and just start shaping out what we want to do. Getting the shape here. And we kind of build in, as we said, build into the hillside, cliffside, mountainside, whatever you want to call it. And then because we're going to build upwards, we're going to build very vertically. We're going to try and establish some kinds of stairways up. So I want to kind of do it on both sides. I want to make sure both sides are kind of going with the flow. And we're going to just start framing up what will be the doorway here as well. Get the doorway in. Then we're going to keep heading up. Again, I am purely just using cobble and the resources that we have early game, because yeah, I don't want to exert myself by trying to go OTT. So we're just going to see how this goes. Let's get this bottom shape in. So phase 1 is complete. That took us a day, or no, it took us a night time anyway. And hopefully you can at least see the shape. It's really difficult here because the blocks just all kind of merge into each other, but that's the staircase up there, and they're kind of leading into our level 2. And ultimately what this level will be is our kind of mining level. So let's make sure we're lit up in here. Don't want any nasty surprises when we open up that door, but that will end up being our mining area. So nice little level 1 down into our mining area, and let's give it a go. Let's get level 2 in, which yeah, we'll talk. In fact, let's get all the levels in. I think we're talking 4 levels, probably get up to somewhere about there. So we're not going all the way up. That's way too early for this game, but it sets the standard for kind of what we want to do, how we can expand across left and right and vertically. It's going to be really cool. So let's get back into it. Let's get level 2 up and running, and we'll talk through some of that as well. So level 2 will see us kind of do some of the same kind of things. We're just here looking for the shape again, and really as we start going up, we'll start adding some defining features. So we'll start playing with different doorway styles, probably playing with some different features that we can do in each level, but telling that story as we go up. Now, as we start getting up this level and we start trying to figure out how we get up, we're going to need to start thinking creatively. So there's not a lot of space. So we're going to try and do ladders. We're going to try and implement ladders into the build, make it functional whilst making it still kind of look nice. Now, appreciating cobble, it may not look all that nice, but we're going to try and do our best to make it nice as we go along. And that might not be kind of day 1, I guess, as we are here, but come the end of the build at least, then we will have something nice to look at in this cliffside, hillside. We really need to think of a decisive name on that. So we're going to keep building up, and we're going to then start adding in some features. So we're going to start adding in kind of brackets, I guess. It kind of looks like supporting beams, because we're going to be using a lot of balconies and trying to add some variety to the depth. So we're going to probably struggle here as we try and build the spruce fences across, because we are on top of them. Oh no, that's not where we want to go just yet. Let's take that down. Okay, goodbye. There we go. And then this is going to be our first kind of bracket as such here, and we're going to just try out fence gates, see how fence gates get on. Now the difference between here is that they look a bit more transparent, whereas if you use kind of fence posts, then I always find they just don't kind of work. Now you might notice we're just kind of sticking to an edge here, and that's okay, because we're going to then try and incorporate this into the hill like it's not currently, but I need more spruce blocks. That is level 2 complete. Okay, spruce blocks back in hand. This gives you an idea then of how easy or not easy it will be to get up, and that was pretty easy if I do say so. So that's all going to plan. Keep going across here. This is kind of our first kind of bridge that we're going to start balcony that we're going to start doing and differentiating our levels. Now over time, I'm hoping then that these balconies will connect to our other setups. So over time, when we start getting more buildings up or more blocks, I don't know, yeah, we get more access to blocks, then we'll start generating some, then we will start generating bridges. We'll start going across the landscape to really try and grow what we can achieve here. And I'm really intrigued to see how it's going to go. It's, I guess, actually playing on a little bit of what I tried at the end of, or at the start of rather, of the Artisan Collective with the gunpowder building at the back of Now Colours base. So we're just starting to get some height in here, and I'm going to play around with trying to add some depth. Again, it's really going to be hard to see from afar, but I just want to try and like make some windows. These are going to be like inlets, like how castles kind of do them, you know. This is going to look really obscure, that block out there, but it will all start to make a bit of sense as time goes on, because you say we are going to integrate it. Now you start seeing now we're getting some different door shapes, which is of interest. We've gone from kind of singular doors into a double door with walls and then with oak. So we're just trying out different things at each level to try and separate their purposes. Then we're going to start playing around with different needs for the builds, each level having a different purpose as such. And yeah, just trying to tell that story as the build goes on. This is a new style of kind of editing again for me, trying out some new things. And you'll have to let me know in the comments how this goes, because yeah, it's new. We'll see how it sticks, if it sticks. And we're getting into kind of balcony 2, I guess this is, as we start getting higher up the build. We will start playing around with some different things. Got to cover those holes up in there. Then now we're starting to kind of shrink the build. So the taller we're getting, we're going to start shrinking the height of, or the width rather, of the build, again just to try and tell the story. But what we'll do is incorporate the hill into it. As I've said many times through this build, we're going to incorporate the hill, and we're just starting to shape it naturally with this build because we're taking it inland. It's not even inland, is it? My words are, this is not words day, but we're going to take it away from the build. No, that's not right either. Come on, Tom, get the words out. And take it away from the natural hill gravitation and bring it into our build. That's it. We got there eventually. So we are also getting there eventually with our build too, because this is getting towards the top layer. And I'm envisioning this top layer probably going to be like a enchantment setup, maybe. We'll have to see. A few more stairs just to wrap this around, and then we start finalizing some of the shape. Now the one thing that I want to do here is play around with shelves in a way I've not actually seen. So most people will do the shelves that they face outwards, so you get the indent. Now I'm doing it the other way around to make kind of the brackets kind of show. So I guess that where I guess you'd screw a shelf in, and I think it looks really cool. Like I'm really happy with that as a design concept just here, because yeah, it just adds a completely different texture to this build. Now I am once again running out of the blocks that I need up here, so I'm just going to try and finish up with oak, because I've forgot some oak trapdoors which will help me make kind of a window set up here. But luckily for me, I have a crafting table. I also ran out of cobble stairs, as again we're just shaping out this window up here. Then final piece of oak. I think that's the height that we want to go to, maybe one more. But let's just craft up some oak trapdoors. And now the oak trapdoors give us a bit of a different kind of approach, because well, they're kind of letting more light than the most trapdoors. You know, they've got a completely different texture. Now I am getting a bit worried that we may run into mob spawning, because this area isn't lit up, and we'll see how it goes, I guess. Okay, and then we just wrap this height up, and this will finish up our top level. And well, that is it. When we get down, you'll hopefully see the shape at least. So we need to bring the hill in here, but we'll be able to see it. No, that's not the way down, is it? There's a hole just here, down the ladder, down the stairs. Okay. Yes, that is about what I wanted. Now, there is obviously minimal features in this. This is just kind of the shape, the display of what we're going to do. We need to add a lot more detail, but I don't have the blocks. You can start to see there, we'll navigate back into the side, as I said, multiple times over. And the kind of gap over there. But we've got these little I'm going to keep calling them bridges. They're not bridges, they're balconies. But I'm going to enter free cam because I'll probably be able to show the levels a bit better. So this bottom level, as I said, is mining. And the second level might be probably living quarters or kitchen and furnace. Then into living quarters. So we've got our doors open in there. I've just put in a torch. Make sure we get no nasty surprises. Then here, I'm thinking, I don't know, storage maybe, and it just kind of bursts out, and there'll be a barrel or two on there, I think is my envision. As I said at the top, that'll probably be enchantment. Now, we've got no roof. We need to extend it back. We need to, yeah, get some more blocks, some more block variation. I don't intend on leaving you with just cobble and oak and a bit of spruce, but hopefully you can start to see the shape that we're going for. Now, as I said, I have minimal in the way of tools, in the way of other blocks. This is literally everything we have. So we need to go out. Now, the one thing that was really fortunate, now over here, I've kind of put my little working space. Everyone does it. I wanted to keep it off camera, but the one thing I just had to show was back here. So I've never had this before, but over here, we found a skelly spawner, and I've lit it up, took the chests away. So I think that's fantastic for early game. Honestly, this seed, AI, ChatGPT, you have absolutely smashed it, because it's given me everything that I've wanted and needed. So I'm probably going to build a mob spawner, mob killer, you know, that thing, and get that going. Maybe get an enchantment setup, but I really need to go caving. I'm still on copper tools. I think I've got maybe 20 iron to my name. I think I spent most of it with the chains for the hanging signs, because they're another blimey expensive recipe to put those together. So I'm going to spend a bit more time gathering some resources, and we'll bring you back in after a little bit of time. And with some time away, Skelly Spawner has been done. I have an enchantment set up, and I've got a fair few of excess items. And well, here's the thing. I actually got really fortunate with this. So this was kind of the second build. Let me explain. If we go down, I went to build like a proper one, or the kill chamber one where it drops them down. But because the spawner was high, it was up at the ground level, you have to be in 16 blocks from the center of that. So we couldn't do that. So it takes a bit more effort. We do have to do a bit more swiping, but it is in place. And we got super duper lucky because we then opened out by doing that into this massive cave. So I've been and looted this really, and we're pretty much now set to go. I'm stuck. To go and update the build. I think it's about time to throw in some new blocks, get in a bit of a palette, add some additional features, and start making it feel a bit more steampunk fantasy. So we've got it there, and with a quick spin, we are now complete. And before we go and take a great look, let's load in the ChatGPT image for the first time, because, well, we haven't seen it before. Let's have a good old zoom in and get a good view of the palette that we have brought in. And we've added in some dirt to add a bit of shade. We've got the brain coral, we've got andesite, we've changed up the windows to add some more depth. We've got, what else have we got? We've got plenty. Let's go grab a closer look, and hopefully as we start getting over, you'll start to see really what we're aiming to really establish as part of this. And you might see there, we've got the extra feature on the side there, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But we tried out some new things here, some things we've never really done before. So we've got in some spruce, we broke up the oak, and we have also added in a pallet over here. There was an extra balcony added, and we built up from the ground with some moss, and then added in that same kind of texture with the dirt, coarse dirt. And we'll enter FreeCam here and show the feature. I think this is kind of like a boiler cog, I think is what we're going for. But we played around with some terracotta and tuff, and then added in a big chimney spout up the top here using smokers, which is really expensive for the start of this game, but looks really cool. So some pale oak, some oak, and a bit of variation in there to try and merge into the deep sea. Yeah, don't look at the back, there's still holes at the back. We'll fill this up, don't you worry. But the tuff, the glazed terracotta, the oxidized lightning rods, but I think now it just needs something to sit behind it. I think it just merges into the background. We need something extra, so let's hop into a quick time lapse. And with that time lapse, we are now completely just watching this science phase in and out. But we've kind of just added in, I think what I'm just calling this is like an air vent, like kind of steampunk vent. We were saying this is like a furnace or like a cog, like it's generating loads of heat, being told by the colours of the orange, and it's generating, going through the wall. And because of the amount of heat that it's given off, it's going through the chimney breast up there, but it needs a massive like industrial style vent to keep it cool, which is kind of what we're going for here, showing with the smooth stone that you got the open flaps and just blowing loads of air at it, keeping it cool. And what we then just tried to do is just add a few little decorations. Now the one thing that I skimmed over real quick was playing with glass. We did it up here. Now I'll show a better angle, but I've done it here too, just adding in a brown hue. So it's playing with the dirt into the kind of brown concrete powder, which gives us the oomph as such, the big depth of color. And then just as we start shifting out, there's just some brown glass panes over the top, and it just alters the hue. And if you take a zoom out rather than being zoomed in, it's just really small details that really add to the hue of the build and just add some nice details. Up there I tried to play out again, there's some heat or something generating off here. We need to add some more story to what it is, but with the break in the palette, it just gives us a glimpse of what might be there. Oh, hello pillagers. They always spawn whenever I'm talking. Now I have to admit the top currently looks a bit blank, but we'll figure that out. There were some blocks that could have gone in there, but we don't have access to, like nether quartz, and just adding in a different color hue. We haven't got into the nether yet. So let's sleep and we'll revisit some of the other features. So I mentioned over this side we played with glass, and see just from afar where you might see it, and that's right, it's over this area here. And all we've tried to do is just add a greyish hue over this one. So we've run the browns over here with the oak into the coarse dirt. We've even then changed up the brackets, as we were calling them earlier, added in a dark oak fence, and then we've just played with a greyish hue over the top. And it's really nice. We've done the same here, just extended it down. And again, from afar, it's really small details, really small details, but it just helps create a fuller color picture to the build. Now the other thing you might have noticed is when I zoomed in, we've just added a few tiny details here and there. We've got some buttons over here, but also across the backs of these shelves. So just adding in another texture. I said I like the back of the shelves, and I really do. I like just adding in another texture in there. Is there anything else we've missed? We played around with the shade under here, adding in the dirt. We've tried to add terracotta behind some of the features, light grey terracotta behind some of the features. Now the one thing that I have done between clips is actually add in some, we filled in the hole. You might remember there was a hole there. For the moment it looks natural. It looks kind of how it would have been generated. We've just kind of filled in around here, and I'm really happy with that. And now, honestly, I think that probably brings me to the end of this first episode. It's been a whale of a time. It's been over 12 months. I've enjoyed experimenting with this episode. We've done some build styles, done some editing differences, and well, next time we need to figure out some interiors. So if you've got any ideas of what we can do inside, put them down in the comments. Remember to like, and do remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.